you all find it home. Right? Now, in the previous class, we have completed our practice book, that is lesson number 4. Now, in this class, we are going to start a new lesson that is about the northern plains. But already in the previous class, we have learned about the mountains, right? Northern mountains, where we have the mountains 3 types, and we have read about that in detail and about the culture too. What all the states will come under the northern mountains that we have learned in the previous class. Now in this class we are going to learn about the few objectives, means what we are going to read in this lesson. Knowing about the northern plains, name the river basins in the northern plains, list the plants and animals found in the northern plains, and describe the life in this region. So what all the states will come under these areas, about that we are going to read in this lesson in detail. Now here we have a small warm-up. Name the regions where these crops are grown in India. Now here in this warm-up, the first one you can able to see where. Now every day we are going to take this as a meal, that is a rice, where mostly the rice will be grown in South India. Here you can write Andhra Pradesh, a small one, and second one, and that you can able to see with the help of this we will prepare the chapatis, we will get the bread, right? That is nothing but wheat. Mostly from which state we will get the wheat or the regions in the north India. Here you can write Andhra Pradesh or South, and here you can write Punjab, Haryana or in the north direction. Rice will get from the south and wheat will get from the north. Now here in the page number 368, about the northern plains are given here. Now we are going to start the lesson in detail. Now here I have drawn a map on the board. Right here already you know we have done in the previous class that we have the 4 important directions: east, west, north and south. What all the important plains are there in the north side? About the northern plains we are going to discuss in this lesson. Mostly they will cover from here: Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, this region. Punjab, Haryana. So here about these things we are going to read in detail. These are nothing but northern plains. Right, beta? Now here the northern plains lie in the south of the North Mountains. They extend from Punjab in the west to Assam in the east. Now here we have the Punjab, right? From Punjab to Assam. Now majority of the population of India lives in this region, mostly from the ancient days, not only now, from the many years back also people started living in this plain region. Why? Because in the olden days, wherever mostly the people used to move from the one place to another place in search of food. As I know, even if you ask your grandparents, they will tell you in detail that how they used to get the food in the olden days. Means the people will be common, they will be saying by doing the agriculture. In one place only they used to do the agriculture? No, not like that. They used to move from one place to another place. In the same way, from the ancient days also, where there is a good facility of the water. As I know, already in the previous class about the northern mountains we have learned, about the glaciers we have learned, where the change of ice into water is a glacier. Now when it will change into a form of river, it supplies the water to all the parts of the places. Now when the water is moving from the one place to another place, And not only it is a water beta, it also carries very fertile minerals which are helpful for the growth of crops. Now with the help of the people who are living very near to these rivers, they started cultivating the crops. Right? That's the reason where mostly in this plain region the people started settling there. Now once they have started settling there, they started adopting or started doing the crops cultivation, means growing different types of crops. They will move from the one place to another place, with the help of the small boats. And not only that, here they started constructing the very good worshipping places. Mostly we can see Kedarnath, Badrinath. These all places are very near to the rivers. So here we can say the North India is a best pilgrimage place. Right? Now, majority of the population of India lives in this region. These plains are also known as the Indo-Gangetic Plains or the Great Plains of India. So here these plains we called as Indo-Gangetic. Why? Because the river Indus and Ganga lies in this place. That's the reason here. Now, here we have river Indus and Ganga. So this plain we called as a Indo-Gangetic plain. Indo-Gangetic plain or Great Plains of India or Great Plains of India. Right? Now, the northern plains have been formed by the three major rivers. How they have formed? With the help of the three important rivers. They are Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. And here completely in the northwest direction river Indus is there, and in the completely in the east direction here we have Brahmaputra. Right? When Brahmaputra comes from the Nepal and when it starts moving to the India, it will change, right? And it will start moving from the east and towards the west direction. Then it will be called as a river Ganga. So the three important rivers are river Indus, river Ganga and river Brahmaputra. And their tributaries. What are the tributaries here? A small valley, a small water valley which they are moving from one place to another place or in the form of small valleys before going to join the sea. So these rivers bring along minerals, rocks and silt from the mountains and deposit them on their banks and surrounding areas. Whenever they are moving from the one place to another place. Recently we have the very bad rains, yes, on the very heavy rains which were affected completely to the whole human life. Now, whenever the river is flowing inside our colonies or inside our areas, only water we can able to see, but what all the waste was flowing or lying on the river, it also carried. As on you can see all the garbage, papers, plastic covers, all the waste we can able to see moving along with the water. In the same way here also, when the water is moving from the one place to another place, it carries some minerals, right? It carries the silt, small amount, very fine particles, soil. We can able to see these all things which are very helpful for the growth, which are helpful for the cultivation of different crops. Now what they will do, once the speed is slowed down, they will deposit, means they will leave there only and only the water will flow. Like this the plains were formed. So it is known as a alluvial soil, which is the most fertile soil in the world. Throughout the whole world, this soil is very fertile, very important soil for the growth of crops. That soil is known as alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is a fertile soil of the world. Now, the river Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra divide the northern plains into the three basins. A basin is an area watered by a river and its tributaries. What is a basin here? So, from the river Indus, Brahmaputra and river Ganga. Now, this North India is completely wet throughout the whole year. Continuous, there is a flow of water. Yes or no? So here that place we call as a basin. From there the formation of the river takes place and again the water will be supplied to the other parts of the places that we call as a tributaries. Right? Now, these are the three basins of the northern plains. What are the important basins here? Indus basin, Ganga basin and Brahmaputra basin. River Indus basin, river Ganga basin and river Brahmaputra basin. So, about the Indus basin, right? Hope you have understood till here, right? This is a Punjab. And here we have river. How many basins we have here? Three important basins. River Indus, Ganga basin, Indus basin and Brahmaputra basin. Right? Three important basins. Now the Indus basin. The Indus basin is formed by the river Indus and its tributaries. What are the tributaries? Just now I told you. Now here it is a large water body, that is a river. That is the Indus river. Again this river water is sending to all the different parts of the places. This we call as a tributary. Now what are the tributaries of river Indus? They are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. So here the river Indus is dividing into the 5 important tributaries. Now a large part of this basin lies in Pakistan. Now who is our neighbor? Here we have number of neighboring countries also. Now when we are going to the east direction, China, Nepal, Bhutan, right, Bangladesh, they all are neighbors to us in the east direction. Now when we are moving to the northwest direction, here we have the Pakistan, they are our neighbor. So the most part of the or more part of the river Indus lies in which country? That is in Pakistan. Right? In India, the Indus basin covers the states of Punjab and Haryana. Now here we have Punjab and Haryana. Mostly these two states will cover under the Indus basin. Now both these states are drained mainly by the river Satluj. So more amount of river Satluj water will come and join in the Punjab and Haryana. So the main crops grown in Punjab are wheat, cotton, barley, maize, rice, oilseeds, millets and sugarcane. About different crops are grown in this Indus basin. Now moving to the Ganga basin. Now the Ganga basin spreads mainly across the states of Uttar Pradesh. Here we have Uttar Pradesh, right, Bihar and West Bengal. The tributaries of the river Ganga. How we have the tributaries for the Indus? Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Satluj and Jhelum. In the same way for the river Ganga also we have the different tributaries. They are Gandha, Gomti, Ghagra, Kosi and Chambal. Run through this basin. On reaching West Bengal, the Ganga divides itself into several branches. Now here we have Bihar. Right? When Ganga is going to join the Bihar, when it is going to enter the Bihar state, it divides into the different branches, different streams. Right? Now, there are the two main branches. They are the Hooghly and Padma rivers. These two are located in West Bengal. River Hooghly and Padma river. Now, the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers form the largest delta in the world. That is the Sundarban delta. Now here the river Ganga and Brahmaputra, they are forming the delta. The delta is very famous and the largest delta in the world. That is Sundarban delta. What is delta here? The river water which is dividing into the different branches before going to join the sea. Understood? Now the river water is there, but this water is there. These are dividing into the different streams. Yes or no? River water is a fresh water which is used for the different purposes. For eating, cooking, for different sources, for different purposes we use that water. So when sea water is a salty water which is not useful for any purpose. So before going to join the sea, these river waters are diverted to the other parts of the state so that other people can also use that water in a useful manner. So before going to join the sea, the river water is diverted to the other parts that we call as a delta. So the river Ganga and Brahmaputra is the largest delta in the world, so that we call as a Sundarban delta. Now the major crops grown in this basin are sugarcane, rice, jute and millets. Here you can able to see the jute, and with the help of the jute here we can able to make different types of things. As I know, with the help of the jute we can able to make the candles by wrapping it on the balloon and tossing the balloon when we dip in the Fevicol, and when we wrap it on the balloon. After drying up, if we blast that balloon, we'll get into a round shape. Again, we can use different purposes. As a showpiece also we can use. Now here, with this bird nest is made with the jute. Yes, and here, like this, here we have the different types of items which are mostly, different types of crops which are mostly grown in the Ganga basin. Now about the Brahmaputra basin and plant and animal life we will do in the next class. Hope till here you have understood this lesson. Now we will meet in the next session. Thank you.